So two of the young people who died during the Enyobeni Tavern tragedy will be buried today. But of course, there is 19 empty coffins that are going to be transported to the Scenery Park Sports Ground, where a mass funeral will be taking place. But this is more of a symbolic funeral than anything else. And this is a very, very difficult time for the parents, the families, and of course for South Africa to be watching on this. And President Cyril Ramaphosa will speak at the service at the Scenery Park Sports Grounds in East London in the Eastern Capes. And these empty coffins we were telling you about of the victims will be taken to the venue, and burials will then be conducted privately by their families. Abongile Jantjies is at Scenery Park Sports Grounds. He's going to be in conversation with the Executive Mayor of Buffalo City District Municipality, Xola Pakathi. So let me hand it over to you just to give us an understanding of the events that will be happening, and also perhaps find an update on when we will actually find out the cause of the death. Over to you, Abongile.
Thanks, Leanne. We haven't seen any sight of the coffins making their way inside this field here at Scenery Park, but we're expecting them shortly before 9. That's because that's when the procession is expected to start. That's when the dignitaries are expected to have been inside this marquee here at Scenery Park. Security has been beefed up, that much I can tell you. We have seen roadworks being made. We have seen potholes being fixed over this, coming to this day. And we've seen, one can say, service delivery, one can say a bit of development for the people of Scenery Park in light of what has happened to those young people at that tavern. But to get more reaction, I'm now joined by the Executive Mayor, Xola Pakathi. A very good morning to you, Sotolobo, and thanks for joining me during this time. We are now here. The procession will come and go, and service delivery remains quite an issue for the people of Scenery Park. We've seen roads being made. We've seen everything that speaks to development seemingly taking up that turn. But some people say, if this didn't happen, it would have been taken slowly again. So what can you say about that?
No. It is not correct to say should this have not happened, it would not have taken place. We have an ongoing program of fixing potholes across the city. But we felt that let us then focus here because of the volumes of cars that will be arriving in this township to ensure that roads are properly fixed.
And coming to today, take us through the process.
Well, today is the culmination of a preparatory process that we have been working on with the provincial government to ensure that the 21 young people are given a befitting send-off by ourselves as the city, working with the other spheres of government. Indeed, as you can see, the mood is somber. We are still devastated, and we are still confused about what has happened then.
A lot of money gets spent when it comes to preparing for funerals, and one cannot escape the mind of the Mandela fraud scandal. In preparing for this, would you say that all funds have been properly spent?
We have made sure that this will not be a repeat of the Nelson Mandela funeral scandal, and we have made sure that everything is done by the book in terms of following the due processes of procurement.
It's corruption-free, in other words?
Certainly, I can assure you on that.
Okay. In your engagements together with the provincial leadership, in terms of the autopsy results and providing other support for the families after this, when can we expect them to be handed out? And going further after this funeral, what support is the municipality providing to the families?
Well, I think we should wait until the SAPS report on what has happened is then made public with what would be the recommendations, so that we do not have a repeat of what has happened in terms of ensuring that there is compliance with the liquor license conditions and all of that, but ensure that in areas where alcohol is consumed, safety is also prioritized.
And loopholes in your bylaws in terms of alcohol sales, would you say there are any in light of this incident?
Not necessarily. I think although there is no police report on that matter, but I think there are glaring observations of negligence on the part of the owner of the tavern by not adhering to the licensing conditions.
In your view, what could the municipality have done in at least preventing this?
Well, we cannot have a law enforcement in every tavern, but it is the responsibility of all of us collectively to ensure that where alcohol is consumed, safety is prioritized.
Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you so much, Abongile.
Well, and that was Xola Pakathi, the executive mayor of the Buffalo City Metro, telling us that everything is going according to plan and that all funds were channeled in a well manner and that it's corruption-free and that them as the municipality, they'll continue providing aid to those families. Back to you in studio.
Yeah, Abongile, thanks very much. And yeah, certainly important questions being asked there. You know, there's as much as there is parents mourning and families that are mourning there. And this is a great tragedy that we are witnessing here. But it is important to ask questions as well about funds because the history, unfortunately, with regard to funerals and funds is not too good in that particular area. So, Abongile, thank you. Thanks for asking the questions. Thanks for covering the grounds there. He's outside, of course, of the sports park. That's where the funeral is going to be taking place. Kim Daniels is inside the tent. Now, the news is that the president should be arriving just before 9 o'clock or so, and the families have started making their way there. But 8 o'clock, we should start seeing more and more of the families and, unfortunately, that procession arriving there at the sports park as well. All right, let's take a break here on the program.